All right, so ISIS, between the beheadings, the burning of the Jordanian soldier, ransacking cities all over Iraq and Syria, and with their tentacles seemingly spreading, it's not just about violence that they're doing to people, it's to property, and now to artifacts. In the city of Mosul, there is video that has been released, and according to Vocative, ISIS militants using sledgehammers and drills, the Islamic police reduced the priceless Mesopotamian statues, some of which date back over 35,000 years, to rubble.
So, by the way, before we go to the videos, 3,500 years, of course.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. And it's Assyrian and Akkadian sculptures, so they're saying, well, they're not Muslims, so they got to go, okay? And I'm going to give a warning. It's a weird warning because they're not people that they're destroying. But when I watched the video, it was a little gut-wrenching, okay? They're about to destroy some of the most ancient art we have in the world. So, with that warning, here's the video.
فمت يا ضفدع الشغب هذا أوان النجوم الغر في أفق طغت عليه غيوم القهر والغضب.
We can't get that stuff back. We can't, it's gone. That was a part of all of our history that they just wiped out. And it tears me up looking at that video, right? And I mean, it tore me up looking at all their goddamn videos. And it's hard not to say, stop it, you frickin' animals, right? But what they're trying to do is provoke us.
Yeah, there's so much here. Look, we're already becoming, and we've been talking about this for months already, that we, in a way, in the West, are becoming desensitized, I think, to a lot of the stuff. So then they do even worse stuff, much like burning the Jordanian soldiers, so that it makes us that much angrier, because then they want us to bomb. I mean, it's just this never-ending cycle. This, of course, I mean, this reminds me of the Nazis burning books. You know what I mean? They want to burn history. They want to literally erase a time and a people off the map. I mean, that's what they want to do to then further whatever they're doing. So I did have a similar feeling to you. Like, as horrible as all the stuff is, and of course killing the people is far worse, but there is something different about going for art, going for books, because then it's like you can really sort of see through the facade of it in some weird way.
It feels like an attack against our humanity, that this is all of our culture. I mean, the Middle East is where we all came from, right? And it's the Fertile Crescent, it's the cradle of civilization. Yeah. And so what did the poor Akkadians ever do to you? They're not around, right? Yeah. There's nothing left to kill. But here, this is an attack on our identity. So their idea is, we're right, we don't care what anybody else thinks, so we'll kill not only you, but who you are in our terrorizing of this area. But again, as much as we are ripped apart by this, let's be smart. Let's be smart. It's not to say you don't do anything about that. Of course you do something about that. But the question is, what do you do about that? And these guys, part of that same ideology is, they believe they've got to fight the Crusaders in a certain city in Syria, and they're trying to draw us in.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Right, and then of course that feeds all kinds of right-wing Christian theories on end-of-world stuff.
That's right.
Because they have all kinds of stuff going on in Syria as well. So it's this never-ending thing, and I don't know. See, this is the interesting thing. To me, I don't know what. Of course, I don't know what the answer is, but I don't. When I think about it, partly I want to do something. I think we should do something. Then, of course, we know that every time we do something, we make everything worse. When Egypt did something in the last couple of weeks, it was actually pretty good, it sounds like. They killed a lot of ISIS members. It sounds like something good happened. Jordan jumped in. So maybe some of the pieces are in place so that we don't have to do everything finally. I hope, because we can't and we shouldn't.
So I have an idea, and it's very inexact, and of course, there's no magic answer that you do X, Y, and Z specifically, and then they'll be gone, right? But we know what doesn't work. We know bombing, invasions, etc. Over the last 12 years, we've seen that it doesn't work. We bombed the hell out of Iraq, and these guys came out, right? So that's your answer for what doesn't work. Now, in our history, what has worked? The Marshall Plan worked. right? So where we, and it's a little bit more complicated than that, rebuilding Germany and Japan was not just the Marshall Plan, but the Marshall Plan plus rebuilding our worst enemies, the guys who were the Nazis and the guys who bombed us in Pearl Harbor. We poured a lot of our resources to rebuild them, and they became our top allies. So we have some sense of what works, and that's not to mean you go and give money to ISIS. Of course not, of course not. But if you read counterinsurgency manuals, okay, and we have them in our military, I know because I read them from our military, right? What they say is, take away their popular support. The minute you drop a bomb, you're bound to kill some innocent civilians, and you build their popular support. Now, the way you take away their popular support is by being great to the people that live there. Okay, not ISIS. Not ISIS. You're trying to win hearts and minds. They say it, but they don't act upon it, right? And so, and that's why it's not easy. How do you know who's ISIS, who's not? How do you know who's to be great to? And then sometimes you prop up the Iraqi government, but they do all the wrong actions. That's why there's not an easy answer. But I know this ain't the answer. You know?
Well, I think you made a good point about the Germany and Japan thing. I mean, think about it. We fought the Nazis. We killed an awful lot of Germans. We dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan. And I would venture to say that if you ask 9 out of 10 Americans who are the top 3 or 4 allies of the United States, Germany and Japan would come up almost every time. We're only 70 years out of that. You know what I mean? We're not that far out of it. There are people that are still alive when that happened. You know, and that's how far we've come.
And people will argue, well, if you try to give, for example, foreign aid, well, that wastes resources. How many trillions of dollars did we waste in the wars that were counterproductive and led to these sons of bitches?